Hello, this is Jason. Hope you're doing well. I'm hoping to put a smile on your heart today. Just having a great time. I'm over here at this abandoned farmhouse we bought, and it's my official first day of remodeling this abandoned thing. No one's lived in it for like 10 years. Can you believe it? I love bringing old things back to life. Everybody I've had out here, we did a new septic system in the back. They're all like, are you sure you don't want to tear it down and get a new one? And I said, no, we're going to see what we can do with it and see if we can bring it back to life. My first step is taking down that old electric post and putting new electrical. The whole thing needs it. So it's going to be quite a workout. It's quite a place. And say a prayer for me. It's going to be a workout. And we'll have back here the old barn in the back behind us. So anyway, I'm hoping to put a smile on your heart today, tell you a story about the time I met Richard Simmons. I pick it because, well, if you didn't know, Richard Simmons really passed away. I think it was one of those rumors that would go around and that people would think, Richard Simmons died? And then you'd find out he wasn't really dead. It was like an internet rumor. Rumors take off, don't they? But this time Richard Simmons has really passed away. My glasses get dark out here in the sunshine. So anyway, Richard Simmons passed away. I met Richard Simmons, and I want to tell you the story about when I met him, and maybe it'll just be a good story that you'll enjoy. But when I was a young man and thought I was really quite steadily and manly, it was the first time I had gotten home from something early, and I saw Richard Simmons on one of those, more like a daytime talk show, and he was just really super encouraging these ladies who were in some really, really tough situations. They were overweight and they got housebound. I mean, really, really, really big. And I could just imagine in the terrible situation they were in, they must have felt hopeless. And then to have someone come in, I was watching Richard Simmons, who came in to visit them and talk to them about hope of losing weight, hope of gaining their life back. And I was kind of impressed. And as a guy who thought of himself as a manly man, I thought to myself, if I ever see Richard Simmons and meet him, I'm going to tell him what a great guy I think he is, and how much I appreciated how he was so nice to those people in their times of need. If you don't know it, Richard Simmons is a little bit effeminate, and he got picked on a lot by David Letterman and stuff, and I think it just was he was just kind of the butt of the joke, but I could see that he was a really good guy and cared about people. And then in my egotism as a young man, I thought, I'm a manly man. So I'm going to tell him, a manly man like me really appreciates you. So I promised myself if I ever met him, I would tell him that. Well, 20 years or so goes by, and I'm doing some work at the Portland Airport in Portland, Oregon. And I get done, and I only have just this short amount of time, a lot to do. So I'm walking away, and I hear the voice going into the store of the Made in Oregon store. And if you haven't ever heard of Richard Simmons' voice, boy, you know it when you hear it. And I was like, that's Richard Simmons. I know it. And I made a promise to myself that I would talk to him if I ever saw him. And I was like, but I only have this little amount of time for lunch. And I almost passed it up, but I said, I promised myself, it's been 20 years. I'm never going to see this guy again. So I thought, I'm going to do it. So I start walking over towards Richard Simmons, so Made in Oregon store. He looked at me, caught my eyes first, and in that kind, gentle way, he greeted me first. Hello, how you doing? And he came to me, and we had a nice introduction, mostly because of his kindness, really. But I said hi, and then I told him what I just told you, that I just was so moved by his kindness towards people in their time of need that it moved me and made me want to be more like him and inspired me. And this is what Richard Simmons said to me. And I apologize in advance for my terrible impersonation. But he looked at me and he was smiling. He kind of got a smile on his face and he goes, "Well, you know what I say? If you can't be nice, just keep your ass at home." Very dramatic guy. But I thought that was some pretty profound words. And he said, when he told me that, he goes, "Yeah, just be nice. Just be nice." And he was nice and he was good to people and people in their time of need. And I really appreciate that about him. And, it's just encouraging to us. We're all going to go through it. We're going to be in our times of need. We're going to be feeling like nobody knows we're in our home. And are we ever going to get out? Are we ever going to get out of this rough time we're in? And Richard Simmons will remind you are. There's hope. You're going to go places. So Richard Simmons died not too long ago. So I just wanted to give this tribute to him and remind you that there's good things in this world. And we just hear a lot of it because of the news just raining down that everything is terrible and that there's no hope. But there is a lot of hope. Our world has ups and downs. We've been through ups and downs before. And, we'll get through what we're getting through. Our life has seasons. And if you're going through a tough time, it's just a season. You'll get through this. And I'll be thinking of you. And I do want to be a little bit more like Richard Simmons. So if you ever need someone to talk to or whatever you need, make a comment below it. I'll write you. I'll talk to you. And I'll say a prayer for you, but we're not alone, and I'm glad I took the time to say and tell Richard Simmons what I thought. I suppose that's another thing that we have to be willing to do. Take the time to tell the people we appreciate how thankful we are of them. We get too much in our heads thinking about how terrible things are, and we forget the important stuff, like appreciating our loved ones and the people that are around us. The world is great. Take care. I hope you smiled a little bit in your heart today. Take care.